Welcome, viewers, to another Sip and Talk Saturday with Dr. Sherry Tomlin. Joining me tonight, all the way from the Gambia, is our beautiful queen, Rehema. And we just love that virtual background. Absolutely
Thank you.
stunning. Who did that? Tell us.
There's a Nigerian brother. I don't have his name pulled up right now, but I will find it and share it with you because he did this beautiful piece just because he was moved to do it when he saw it.
I've never seen anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a couple. And that's like that's the first Nigerian that helped me or did something really wonderful like that, because that I've used that picture for lots of different things, but at another point I put a post up saying I needed someone to help me with Photoshop. And a young brother from Nigeria hit me up on Facebook and said, "What do you need, Ma?"
Yeah.
And when I told him, he worked with me and helped me develop my logo. He worked with me for months, just back and forth, and just really, I mean, it's amazing what he did. The work he did was amazing.
That's what I've been telling everyone. When our brothers and sisters have the freedom to express themselves, create, build, invent, this is what we get. Something that's unique, original. We can't compare it to anything else out there. I think this is like, only things Black men or Black women could create or even accomplish.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, because when you look at it, there's just so many different layers to this virtual background that you have. Yeah. So, our topic tonight is actually about the division in the Black community, ways to heal the Black community, because now we are a color. Okay, before we were named after two continents, Africa and America. Now, all of a sudden, we are a color. But in part two of our discussion tonight, the last Sip and Talk was with a brother from Cameroon and a couple of sisters from, the Black American community in America. And so, we were talking about reasons why people are on social media saying different things about us not getting along or not making progress, or immigrants from the continent are better. And that's coming from a place of ignorance for a lot of people, because there's about a little more than a billion of us, original humans that exist today around the world. And for everything on this earth, there's an opposite. So we want to prove that for what they're saying that's negative or dysfunctional or disrespectful, there's people in our community that's doing the opposite. And here we are. Yeah, we have a beautiful sister, Rehema. You're from, you left America and went to the Gambia, went to Africa. And how are you received in the motherland, on the motherland?
Well, Dr. Tomlin, let me, even before I go into my being here at this time, let me just say that from when I was much younger, many years ago, I had beautiful relations with people from the continent. So I think some of my first relations were with Somalians, young Somalians that were there in the States. And I think my earliest was with Nigerians. I was only 15 years old. I was in high school. There were a group of 5 brothers living in an apartment around the corner from my high school in East Oakland. Those brothers left an impression on me that could never be shaked. They were like so kind and so, I mean, they really treated me like I was their niece, like I was their daughter. you know.
Mhm.
And I would go over their house. They would not let me there during class time. I'd always have to go back to classes, but I could come there for lunch. They would make me these big shrimp that I'd never seen before. And they would always cook anything I liked. The next time I'd come, they'd have more of it. And I was really into jazz music. So anytime there was a song or something I liked, the next time I'd come, they'd have that album. And
Yeah.
then eventually, all five of them moved away to different homes, different places in Oakland. This is in Oakland, California. And
Mm.
I would go to visit different ones of them at different times. And they always treated me like I was their niece.
Now imagine 200, there's like maybe 280 million people in Nigeria, right? Now imagine
Mhm.
going there. Okay. I went there a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
just what you said, imagine 200 million people, maybe 80 million is not so hospitable, we don't know. But imagine
Mhm.
that being the case, and you have the freedom, you have the brotherhood and sisterhood, you have the connections that we don't have here. Imagine stepping into a world where, even though, their government is horrible and they're living, a lot of them, maybe 90 million live below the poverty line, right? Just
Mhm.
imagine, in spite of all that, right? You have people
Mhm.
that are ready to, take care of you, help you, love on you, and just have
Yeah.
a good time. Imagine walking off a plane and you just have the freedom to party all day, all night, have fun, have people just, welcome you and show you new things. And what can you imagine? It exists, and people don't understand
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very good thing for you to bring this to the forefront, and more of us need to do it, because I'm telling you, that was like an orientation. So over years, I mean, then it was the Somalians, then it was the Sudanese that were going to the junior college, and I used to go by their house. They would cook, and if they didn't cook, I would cook sometimes for all of them. And
Right.
Somalians, there was I went to an international concert, something I didn't even know about. One of my Congolese teachers told me about it up in the mountains, in one of the valley. It was run in the mountains, in the valley of one of in the mountains out in I can't remember the name of the place, Pleasant Valley or something like that, somewhere near Oakland. And it was Salif Keita, Sheklo, that sister, the beautiful sister from East Africa that used to not wear shoes. I
Mm.
can't remember her name, but beautiful singer. And anyway, it was a concert with these artists. And at some point, some brothers had gotten kind of drunk, tipsy, and they were down there about to fight in front. And I had the nerve to kind of step in between them. And one of the brothers turns and says, Rehema, Rehema. And he's drunk and everything. He said, You taught me how to clean my bathroom. Like, what? We love you, Rehema. We love you. And it's some Somali brothers that I knew from some years prior to that, and it really brought tears to me. I was like, what?
Right.
So I'm just saying that in the midst of the US, in the midst of all the issues that we have pointed at and brought to the forefront, that there was so much beauty and love that I experienced. And it's only when I go back and think about it that I can really continue to build on that.
Mhm.
The Sudanese brother that I was closest to took me on a flight. He was studying to be a pilot, and he took me on a flight. And then I remember when I got married and I had my first child, he
Mm.
came to the house. He wanted to meet my husband and he wanted to see my new baby. And so,
Yeah.
there's so many different relations that led up to me being here. And so this has been my experience with Africans from the continent. And here on the continent, I have always felt so culturally in touch,
Mhm.
that so much that the last few years when I would go back home, I would always, there's this one book. I don't remember the author's name. I think he died in 85 or 95. But
Mm.
he wrote a book called, and you may have seen it, it's always in the used bookstores, called, I think it's called The Pygmy, People of the Rainforest,
Mm.
or People of the Rainforest, The Pygmy. And of course, I know that's not the correct name, but I used to take that book and I would read the book when I would come back from Africa, because it would help me to readjust
Yeah.
from the cultural vibe that you were just speaking of, you know. So, and his book, he lived in the rainforest with these people, and he would just talk about like the basics about their living. And so it would always kind of bring me back, you know, and keep me. It's kind of like being from Mississippi too, because I'm from Mississippi, and like what you just mentioned, the hospitality,
Mm.
it's a little bit more than hospitality, and that is just culture. And it
Yes.
feels so rich, and it
Yeah.
embraces you, and it
It
gives you
connect.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you opportunity to connect to yourself while you're connecting with your folk,
Right.
you know.
And so
And
many people don't realize they're missing out on this, experience where,
Mhm.
we are with back home and we are
Mhm.
with our family. And no matter how much you try to deny it, run away from it, it's in our genes. And
That's
certain
right.
things, we just don't know why we can't stop moving ourselves to that beat, or, or just
Yeah,
hanging with
that's
certain
right.
folks because we just click on so many different levels, musically, you know, our ideas. Okay, we can
Mhm.
align so many things with our brothers and sisters on the continent. So the
Mhm.
negative things that are out there on social media and that people are coming up with to divide us uh, is coming from a place of ignorance. That's what I was telling everyone in the last session. So,
I think, if I can add to that, I think that it also is coming from a place of us being out of touch with ourselves. It's like I've had the blessed experience, or the great experience, of being with a young man here who came from the US, never been to Africa, never really vibed with people from the continent. And when I first met up with him, there were two of them, and I didn't know they were from here, I mean, from the US. And I saw that there was this restaurant that I'd passed several times and it was empty. And so I walked up and I said, look, I said, who do I talk to about this space? And the brother said, oh, wait, I'll get the owner is right here. Let me get him. And
right.
so one of them goes back, and then he comes back out, and he said he'll be with you in about 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I
Mhm.
said, where are you from? Because I noticed their accent.
Right.
And they said, oh, we from the States. I said, y'all from the States? I said, yeah. I said, how long y'all been here? One had been here like 4 months, the other one 6 months. And I'm like, really? Like, I was just kind of shocked because I never used to see us coming here. And
Mhm.
then the brother that owned the place was from the States,
Mm.
wife and children, been here a year. And the next few times I came around, and the brother was very frustrated with people here. Like, these people is just shenanigans. They just, I'm tired of them, da 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 da. And so one day I came by and I asked him, can you just come with me? He said, yeah. So I took him on a ride. It must have been about hour and a half trip down all the way to the Senegal border. We just went bop, 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 bop. And each place we stopped, of course, I was meeting people, seeing people that I know. And so he got to meet all these people on this journey. And by the time we come back, he said he was a little short on money. And I said, "You got money for your internet?" Because he does IT and stuff like that. And he was having problems with the brothers he came with. And that evening he said, "Oh, don't worry about it." So the next day I called him. I said, "Hey, did you want me to, I can put some money on your electricity or whatever." And he was like, "No, sister, you know, um, somebody that we met, at that junction up there, gave me a job, man. He paid me all the money, last night. I'm straight." He was like, "Sister, I realize it's not about the people. It's about how you rolling, and how you moving.
Mm.
And ever since then, he's been coming around me. He's now working with a brother I introduced him to, who is another African American who's been on the continent for about 18 years. He's married, actually he has 2 wives, and this brother does a lot. He has huge equipment. He has a NGO that does schools and helps with medical supplies. He's doing things in Sierra Leone, Sudan, Senegal, here in Gambia, Guinea Conakry, you know, and so he's just hooked up with somebody that just knows how to move with the people, you know, through and with the people. And it's just a matter of us. And this is what I always say. Someone asked me this in one of the groups that I'm in, at one of the meetings. She said, how do we connect with the people? You know, I wear the clothes, I have my hair braided, but I still don't feel connected. And my response is, we have to connect with ourselves.
Exactly.
So when you're walking down the street like now, it used to be many more people would speak in the Gambia. I used to love it because it reminded me of Mississippi. But now, especially around the city area, people do the same thing like white people and other people do in the States. They look up at this tree and look at the wind or whatever, instead of greeting the person that's coming towards you. And if you see that, you greet, because you're in tune with yourself. And you know that it's important to acknowledge one another, you know. So when you're with people here, this is what I say for us. When we're here with people here, we have to just acknowledge ourselves. You know, we're African. We don't have to fight for that.
Right.
You know, so you're in tune with that. You get in touch with that. You love that. And through that, you know, you glow into responding with the people around you in a way,
Right.
you know.
So
and we have to,
pretty much what you're saying is that through self-healing, you would be able to connect with your, you know, surroundings. If you're in the motherland, your people, no matter where you are, the original humans, you're able to connect with them better when you understand who you are, and right, bring out your authentic self.
Yeah, and you let that part of yourself connect with that part of whoever. And this is for us connecting across waters and whatnot, and those kinds of created separations, but it also is for us right there in the US and us right here on the continent, because we, the idea is to connect with the God in each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like to see. Like when I meet people here, that's what I would tell people, you know, it's like, you are who I'm waiting for. And I'm who you waiting for. Let's do this.
Right.
You know, we don't have to wait for any other Jesus. We don't have to wait for Muhammad or anything like that. You right here, I'm right here. Let's connect with the God in us and make beautiful things happen.
Yeah, there's so many different things we could unlock with, you know, our unity and our talent. It's just phenomenal. Yeah.
It was something you said earlier about our talent and who we are and our abilities and our innovation and who we are and what we are on the planet. And it made me think of, I heard Ivan Van Sertima in one of his presentations, he said, NASA is looking for Black recruits, like they want to recruit Black scientists. And they're looking for Black people.
I wonder why.
And he explained why, just what you just said, because they need that ingenuity. You know, that we come with, that juice, that sauce, that flavor. Like them sisters in, what do you call it, Hidden Figures, like those sisters.
Look at,
They need that beautiful melanated computer.
Yeah.
You know.
Look at our sister who was responsible for getting them back home, right? Yeah, it had
That's
to
what
be,
I'm saying.
yeah.
You know,
Some things are just,
That level of ingenuity.
I
But I
know,
mean, you know, that's all around, that's us.
right. And if people was to sit down and look at certain God ordained things, certain things that, are just divine interventions, connections, then you'll start to realize that how important we are as the original humans. We were important then, and we will forever be important, no matter who tries to say otherwise or, paint us with a broad brush. Okay, we are always going to thrive. We're going to survive. We're going to strive. And that's who we are, no matter what harsh conditions or, uh, place you put us, maybe it's to start at the back. We're going to always end up in the front. We're going to be, and together, wow.
Yeah, and no matter what propaganda is put out there to keep us apart.
Right.
Because there are, my experience, as you asked earlier initially, experience here on the continent. Sometimes our people, sometimes we need waking up too, on either side of the water. We're both being, I know that there's.
Influenced by.
Say that again.
We're being influenced on both continents by, I guess, things that are not healthy, things that are not true, things that are not for us. Okay. We're being influenced by so many different factors, different things that it doesn't bring out our true abilities and capabilities, which is, the builders, creators, and inventors that we are, and love that we are, most of us.
Right. And lovers of self.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So strategizing, how do we topple and how do we peel off? Okay, how do we knock over
Right.
those perceptions that we have bought into, and how do we build on our oneness?
We first have to reconnect, and that's exactly what you told me when I first met you. So holistically, we have to start with health. We have to be healthy from mind, body, soul, all around. So I'm glad we're getting started. I'm so happy you were able to join me for our sip and talk this evening. And we will just, continue our discussion in the weeks to come. And I want you to, share more about what you're working on and how we can help in our upcoming sessions. Anything else before we call it a night, Rehema?
Well, I'm just, I really wish that I had been on with the group prior. I think that when that happens, it'll be a great, blessed opportunity for me.
Tell us when. Tell us when, because I'll invite them back. They are, ready to sip and talk with you. And
I told you I can work with your time too. It's fine with me. You just tell me. I'm so excited. I was waiting for this time. All the time I'm waiting, I could have been on.
So we're going to make it happen, because you're not going to miss out on, building those good relationships and, sharing your knowledge and making the contributions that you're supposed to be making. And I thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those exchanges.